Hi everybody, this is Erin Austin back again with another video about going global in the world language classroom. Today, this video is about giving your students the opportunity to travel with the organization CIEE. But first, before we get into this strategy and resource, I want to talk briefly about what global education actually is. There are a few major players in this field. World Savvy and the Asia Society are independent organizations that work to further the ideas of global education and global competence. They work with teachers, school districts, and organizations to do this. Harvard, its Graduate School of Ed, and the University of North Carolina's program Worldview are both two major universities that are doing this work as well. They put out excellent programming for teachers, for professional development, and they also do a lot of research. It's important to understand that global education is not just what world language teachers do naturally. Global education is inextricably linked to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, also known as the SDGs. It's also linked to fostering empathy and really putting that idea of fostering empathy at the forefront of our classrooms. Lastly, it centers global competence and really puts the idea of creating globally competent students also at the forefront of our planning and curriculum and classrooms. So what is global competence? Dana Mortensen, the founder of World Savvy, has a definition that I really like. And she said, global competence is the ability to equip all students with the knowledge, the skills, and the dispositions to thrive in an interconnected and interdependent global society. I particularly think the word interdependent is key there. The Asia Society has put out its 4 domains of global competence, and I think we do a little of this naturally in a world language classroom, but there's so much more we can do. First of all, the component of investigating the world. Students investigate the world beyond their immediate environment. Let's go further. Let's not just read about it in a book, although that's great, but there's so much more we can do. This entire series of videos is to give world language teachers ideas about what we can do to help students investigate the world. The second domain is recognizing perspectives. Students recognize their own and others' perspectives. The key piece of this, I think, is recognizing our own perspectives and what brought us there. So why is it that we feel what we feel? What went into our individual, familial, or collective histories that led to these feelings and perspectives? Conversely, what went into the history and day-to-day experiences of people in other parts of the world that led to their perspectives? Third, we communicate ideas. Students communicate their ideas effectively with diverse audiences. In a traditional world language classroom, the people that we're communicating with are other students and the teacher in the classroom. That's great, but let's go further because we can. So let's communicate our ideas with audiences outside of our classroom, in our school, in our neighborhoods, in our communities, in our state, country, and world. Let's make bigger connections. Let's make more of them. Again, because we can. And lastly, we take action. This is such a key component of global competence and of global education. Students translate their ideas into appropriate action to improve conditions, and not improving conditions in a top-down sort of way, in like a we can help them improve their conditions because we have the solutions and the money. Not that at all. Improving conditions together with people all over the world because we live in an interdependent global society. And really, I think the idea of global education can be summed up in one sentence. Global education isn't just learning about the world. It's learning with and from the world. Traditionally, world language classes learn about the world. Okay, great. That's a wonderful start. But how much more powerful would that be if we, as teachers, helped guide our students to learn with people from around the world and from people around the world. So that brings me to CIEE. CIEE has a high school summer abroad program that I really believe in and that I'm really excited about. Disclaimer, first of all, I do not work for CIEE. This is just an organization that I have created a relationship with for my students. The organization has been around a long time, and it has a mission that I believe in to help people gain understanding, acquire knowledge, and develop skills for living in a globally interdependent and culturally diverse world. That right there is so linked to global competence. I love that. So as a high school teacher, I am really excited about their high school summer abroad program. There are different programs, mainly topic programs and language-based programs. The topic programs are 3 weeks long. There are programs all over the world, and they do change year to year. So I urge you to check out the links that I provide in the end of this presentation with the current places that students can study. There's a lot of different fields for the topic-based programs. They can study STEM, arts and culture, business, social change, conservation and sustainability, international affairs. And when they do that, they stay in a hotel or a dorm or maybe country-specific lodging. For example, I got to hear the program coordinator one of the program coordinators in Costa Rica speak. And in his program, students are going into the rainforest and living in the rainforest in Costa Rica, learning about sustainability and sustainable practices, sustainable farming. And it was so incredible to listen to what students get to do as teenagers. Then there are the language-based programs. Those are 4 weeks long, and students can choose from learning Spanish, French, German, Italian, Arabic, Japanese, and Mandarin Chinese. They don't have to have any prior experience in those unless they are doing one of the advanced programs. Otherwise, they can just start from total scratch, having known nothing. If they do this program, they stay with a family, which I think is super special. I got to stay with a family on 2 different study abroad experiences, one in college and one right after college, and it was absolutely transformative for me. And what these programs look like are during weekdays, every single day, students have 2 to 3 hours of classes in language, plus then they have cultural activities and free time, and they have little excursions that they have to do using the language that they learn that day in class. When they have the language-based program, they do take a placement test so that they're placed in the appropriate level. And I love that. Now, here is why I really, really think CIEE is great for students. Equity. This is huge. CIEE has an absolutely massive scholarship fund. Every year that I have known about them and given information about this company to my students, CIEE has given millions of dollars in scholarship money. And that's really special because it makes more students be able to go abroad than could have otherwise. Students actually can get scholarships that cover the full cost of their tuition. I have actually had multiple students get these full scholarships, which has been so special for these kids and their families. CIEE also has locations for their topic programs and their language-based programs that are all over the world. So there's a lot of choice for students and a lot of ability for students to travel to places that they maybe never would have thought to, or live amongst people that they've never lived amongst, which is super great that there's so much variety. This is also a program that creates less work for the teacher. If you are a world language teacher who has brought kids abroad, like I have, you know that it is so rewarding and so incredible and special and a lot of work. CIEE's program is different because you're not going with the kids. You present them with the opportunity. You might want to support them through their application process and the essays that they have to write for the scholarships. But then they go abroad in the summer for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and it's all them. You're not going with them. Also, there's a little bit of an incentive. With CIEE, if 10 students from your school sign up on one of their programs and go in any given summer, CIEE will pay for you to go and visit one of their language-based programs. I had the opportunity to do that. I got to visit a language-based program in Rabat, Morocco, where students were learning Arabic. It was incredible, absolutely amazing. I got to be with a family and a student that was living with them. The student was from Seattle, and I got to partake in their Eid cultural and religious festivities. It was super amazing and something that I will always remember. Also, there's an option with CIEE to be the teacher on other students' trips. You can actually be one of the program leaders in the summer. This is really great. If you happen to have a schedule that's pretty open in the summer, you can apply and be paid to be one of the teachers teaching students all over the world in the summer. And lastly, most importantly, arguably, along with equity, is that these programs benefit students. My students who do these programs come back to school in the fall with an accent that is noticeably better and way more knowledge. I see them in their next level of language, and they're just so much more confident. They are so much more willing to speak, to help others. They make connections linguistically even faster. And it's really cool when other students are like, wow, how did you know that? How did you know that expression or that vocabulary? And the student will say, well, I studied abroad wherever they were that past summer. Lastly, I really think that the opportunity for kids to study abroad in high school is absolutely amazing. So cool for students to be able to do this, and for there to be so much money available to them to get and potentially have a free study abroad experience. So here's some information for you. You can check out CIEE's main website, or the part of their website that is specific to the high school summer abroad program. And if you're interested in being a program leader, there is a QR code and a link there to check out what they offer, where the programs are, and maybe apply. Lastly, if you're interested in learning more about global education strategies for your classroom and how you and your students can get into teaching and learning with the world and not just about it, check out my book, Going Global in the World Language Classroom, published by Routledge. The publisher always runs sales, so it's usually cheaper to buy from Routledge. And if there isn't a sale going on, please drop a comment below and I will give you my most recent code for typically 20% off from the publisher. Thank you, everybody. And I'm so excited to see what you and your students can do with global education in your classroom.